How is Pushya Nakshatra? Repressed emotions. In two words comes out the most unrevealed state of Pushya Nakshatra. He loves, but he finds it difficult to express. She loves, but she finds it difficult to express. He knows what is right, but he finds it difficult to speak up. It reminds me of the great Bhishma of Mahabharata, one of the most beautiful men of the Kuru Vansh. A great warrior, but still he remains mum when Draupadi pleads for his help. He remains unavailable for the Pandavas when the great war breaks out. He knows who is right. He knows that the Pandavas are being treated unfairly, and yet he stands with the Kauravas. He goes on suppressing his emotions, his ideas, in the name of duty. Duty, Shani, Saturn. So Pushya Nakshatra is a man who is emotional within, but he is extremely duty conscious person. For him, duty comes first. Love marriage is like a great revolutionary event in their life. Because to love, you have to express. You have to be very expressive, else the person whom you love will go away. Because the message was never conveyed, those three magical words, I love you, were never spoken, never expressed. And so many Pushya men and women face failures in the matters of love. Once it happened, there was a man, and he must be a Pushya. Because a woman once approached him and said, I love you, I want to marry you. The man blushed. He was a shy person. He looked at her and said, I will let you know soon about my decision. The woman went away. But the man took this proposal to his heart. He goes to the greatest library of his town, scans through hundreds of books, books on whether one should marry or not, books on finding the pros and cons of marriage. And then after 6 months of research and study, he comes to the conclusion that marriage is a good thing. It has more pros than cons. So then he decides to go back to the woman's house and let her know that now he is ready to marry. He goes and gives a ring on her door. The door opens. A old man, must be her father, asks, Who you want? The man says, Where is your daughter? The old man says, She has gone for her honeymoon. She just got married last month. You see, Pushya, Shani, takes a long time in making decisions. Repressed emotions, delays in decision making, and the nature of acquiring. These people like to acquire as much as possible. They are good shoppers and they are also good executives, ambitious executives who want to acquire companies and expand their corporate empires. Overall, this is a typical material world nakshatra or a nakshatra that helps you to progress materially. Generally, for service sector, people belonging to the sign of Capricorn are the most suitable beings. But along with Capricorn, people belonging to Pushya Nakshatra, Anuradha Nakshatra and Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra are also suitable for their duty-oriented nature. A Pushya is a duty oriented person, and let me tell you all that the moment you become a dutiful person, you become a burdened person. Because whatever you do because it is your duty. There is a great difference between the word duty and responsibility. It is very unfortunate that the modern world has made responsibility sound as a duty. Responsibility is not duty. In a school, once the teacher was teaching, the most fundamental thing of our religion is to serve others, she said. A young boy, and he had a very different way of thinking. He got up and said, I understand we have to serve others, but then what will others do? The teacher said, the others will also serve others. The young boy said, if everybody is serving others, then why I should not serve myself? Why you should not serve yourself? Why we should go on sounding as if it is a duty to serve others? Why to make it so complicated that I should serve others and then wait for them to serve me? The young boy was asked to stand out of the classroom. He was a great danger to the society. The teachers could not answer his question. He was thrown out of the classroom. And this is what happens. Truth is thrown out and lies are embraced. And then people go on asking why my life is miserable, why I am not happy, why I miss the happiness in my life. God is truth and you begin in lies. Life is truth and you begin in hypocrisy. If you go on missing, it is no wonder. Duty has no love. Understand this. And I say this to all my listeners and followers that duty has no love. If you are making a cup of tea for me because it is your duty, the tea will be made perfectly. It will have all those shades and fragrance to it. It will taste good, but it will not touch my heart. You see, but the same tea, when someone prepares out of love, out of affection, then the same tea with all the same ingredients and same taste and fragrance touch my heart. Because now there is one special ingredient added to the tea, and it is called love. And love is beautiful, then no matter what you offer, it will have a very different quality to it, a very different meaning to it. Through love, we should serve one another. When you serve tea without love, it is a duty, Pushya. You are simply executing your duty. When you serve tea with love, it is a responsibility. You are doing it with consciousness. A certain depth, a certain quality is to your action. A certain grace is to your presence. The state of love is the state of grace. And when grace comes to your whole being, then life is no more the same. Then there is no sense of duty. The duty transforms into responsibility, and it is beautiful. What is marriage? It is a responsibility and not a duty. The moment marriage becomes a duty, it starts falling apart. Love is missing. Responsibility fades away and duty remains, and duty cannot lead you to the state of ecstasy, to the state of joy. Many marriages exist, they just exist, they never blossom. Marriage is supposed to blossom with time and not just exist. I always insist that do not stay in a failed marriage. Get out of the misery that you are in, but people won't because they say, at least we know our miseries. We have become used to our miseries, and that is the whole story. That man has become used to his miseries. You don't want to lose your old friend, the misery. You have invested too much into false, hence the fear to be exposed, to be true, to be naked as you are. People say, my boss is very bad, but I am okay to be here because who knows how it will be outside in the other company. People say, my marriage has become a misery, but it is okay. I can live with it because who knows how it will be if I get out of it and marry someone else. So you see, people don't want to lose their old friend, the misery. They made misery as their friend and then they come and ask, why my life is so miserable? Now what to say? Sometime you have to just laugh out at the strange ways of this human world. Such men and women continue to live in hell, that is in ignorance, and then they come and ask, does this place called hell exist in reality? You are living in hell and you are asking if hell exists. Ignorance is not absence of knowledge. If it was absence of knowledge, then things would have been very easy. You can borrow knowledge, you cannot borrow being. You have to grow into it. You can possess something and the possession can be taken away from you. Only your being cannot be taken away from you. So unless knowing happens in your being, ignorance cannot be dissolved. When knowing happens within your being, my mother is now old, she needs me. My father is now old, he needs me. When this knowing evolves through your being, only then the shadow of ignorance goes away and you come back to life, back to your senses, back to the source, back to the realms of consciousness. So you see, the moment consciousness comes to your being, you become responsible. And let me tell you all, it is beautiful. To become a responsible man is indeed the most beautiful development, a beautiful stage of your life. The majority is stuck in the sense of duty. Very few can rise to the occasion and embrace responsibility in totality. Whole life Bhishma executed his duty to safeguard the Kurus. Had he been responsible, he would have raised his voice against the injustice, against the corruption of the Kauravas, but he remained a dutiful man and not a responsible man. Pushya is a dutiful man. He will marry and he will take care of his marriage partner and children because he considers it as his duty and not responsibility. Understand the fact, and I say it to you all who have been resonating with many of my sharings, that duty is the nature of Saturn, responsibility is the nature of Jupiter. And so when Saturn Jupiter comes together, duty is transformed into responsibility. A person with this combination, Saturn Jupiter, is a person who understands perfectly the true essence and the depth of the word responsibility. Pushya Nakshatra falls in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is a very emotional sign. And so the Pushya person becomes emotional towards his duty. You see, then when his wife is not well, still he will say, I have to go, I have to report, sir must be waiting for me, duty first. And so they are emotional towards their job. They take their job as a duty. Opposite to Pushya Nakshatra falls the nakshatra of Dhanishta in Capricorn sign, the nakshatra of Mars. Mars is an executive person. You see, he belongs to the boardroom. Here you see the evolution of the sense of duty into responsibility. Here you see that he is not just a worker who comes to execute his duty. Now he is an executive who takes the whole responsibility of running the company. Mars is bossy by nature, but even though he moves around as a boss, he also takes his job as a responsibility and not just a duty. And that makes a difference, that makes him great. Winston Churchill says, the price of greatness is responsibility. Great men and great women are responsible individuals. They don't just come in this world to execute duty, they come to show through their actions the significance of responsibility. Winston Churchill was one such great leader who never gave up. When the whole country was bombarded by the Nazis, he said, I refuse to give up. I will never give up until the very last breath of my life. And history is witness to what happened later. The Nazis became too ambitious. They became too overconfident. They made many wrong decisions. They missed to realize the harsh winters of Russia. And from there, they started falling. And the whole game changed. The Allies became victorious and Hitler committed suicide. A leader is born from the urgency of responsibility towards his fellows, his countrymen. A good servant is born from the urgency of duty towards his job, his company, his country. Understand the fact that responsibility comes only when you become aware. The greater the awareness, the greater is the sense of responsibility, and it is beautiful. You should never do anything because of duty. Either you do something because of love or you do not do it. Make it a point that your life has to be a life of love. And if out of love you respond, then that I call responsibility. Break the word responsibility into two: response and ability. Don't make it one. Joining these two words has created so much confusion in the world. It is not a responsibility, it is responsibility. And love is able to respond. There is no other force in the world that is so able to respond. If you love, you are bound to respond. There is no burden. Duty is a burden. Responsibility is not a burden. It is simply love. There was one such person. His name was Sikandar, and he was a soldier. War was going on, a very difficult war. And Sikandar had just returned to the camp when he realized that his friend Amar is missing. He realized that Amar is still stuck in the war and the enemy was firing madly. He goes to his senior and says, Sir, I need to go back to the battlefield and bring back my friend Amar. The senior officer says, Are you mad? The enemy is firing madly. If you go back, you too will be caught up, trapped, and then you will not be able to come back in one piece. Sikandar said, I cannot leave my friend alone on that battlefield, sir. I will go. I will have to go back. I know he must be waiting for me. The officer said, If that is what you want, then go. But let me tell you, you too will be dead. Sikandar goes back to the battlefield. Everywhere the enemy is firing fiercely, bombarding, a lot of dust, a lot of deaths, and amidst all of this, Sikandar finds Amar. And he carries Amar on his back. Amar is deeply wounded, bleeding profusely. On the way back, Amar dies. Sikandar reaches the camp. His senior officer is standing before him. Sikandar also is now bleeding. He too may not survive for long. Looking at Sikandar, the officer says, Look at you. Haven't I warned you to not to go back to the battlefield? Your friend is dead and now you are also dying. Was it worth it? And Sikandar looks into the eyes of the senior officer and says, It was worth it, sir. It was worth it. Because when I found Amar, he looked into my eyes and said, Sikandar, I knew you would come. Life is worth it when there is love. Life is worth it when there is a sense of responsibility. Life is worth it when you can die, when you can sacrifice for other. But in the classrooms, in the schools, in the colleges, you are taught to sacrifice everything just to be alive, just to survive, sacrifice everything. But then what is the value of such a life? It is simply worthless, a living body without a soul. Pushya Nakshatra is a nakshatra that is still to evolve to the state of soul, the state of being yourself. It is more focused on executing duties and maintaining discipline in life. You can become a great soldier, a great officer, a great worker with Pushya Nakshatra. And you can become a great man, a great woman only when you rise above the sense of duty and realize the essence of responsibility. And then there is a song to it. Then everything around you is the same, but you are no more the same. Then life is transforming into a beautiful painting, a dance. Not letting go is another quality of Pushya. Saturn never wants you to let go. Saturn wants revenge. Saturn wants you to pay back. Saturn is a highly material, practical by nature planet. And therefore, when Saturn is very powerful in horoscope, the person becomes too dry, too revengeful. And when Pushya is in prominence, then the emotions are too high. And through the trap of emotions, the native can go to any extent. In short, Saturn deals with the reality of this material world, and so it is difficult for such a person to realize the significance of letting go, the significance of meditations, the significance of forgiving. A Pushya Nakshatra person cannot forgive. That is not his nature. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. Many times you are not willing to forgive. The greater the ignorance, the greater you are adamant on not to forgive. But then what happens? You remain trapped in yourself. You become the prisoner because you are always thinking of the person you don't want to forgive. You become a prisoner of your nature by not letting go. And the moment you let go, the moment you say what has happened, I forgive you. The moment you say this, from the depth of your heart, a great relief comes to your whole being. Suddenly you start looking more beautiful than you are. Suddenly you start looking more lively than you are. Suddenly you come back home to your source, to where it all had started. Pushya finds it difficult to forgive, and I am saying this simply to help all Pushya natives to realize that it is through the higher realms of consciousness that you can forgive. You can rise above duty and realize the importance of responsibility. That you too can transform yourself. After all, this human life, this astrology is not just to let you know what you are. It is not a full stop, it is just a comma. It is just a signal that you can begin afresh, that you can restart, that there is always a second chance, and life always provides you with a second chance to grow, to transform, to realize your shortcoming, to evolve into a much matured person. Saturn Pushya is the start of maturity. Saturn Anuradha is at the mid of maturity, and Saturn Uttara Bhadrapada is at the peak of maturity. Here, Saturn is much matured, and the abode of Jupiter's, that is Pisces sign, brings a certain depth to Saturn, a certain level of understanding to Saturn. Interestingly, Saturn makes his home in all the three signs of emotions and sensitivity. All the three signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, are signs that melt, that can cry, that can show their emotions, that can express themselves in the most beautiful way possible. It is one of the strangest thing to happen that the most dry planet Saturn dwells in the nakshatras of the most juicy, most emotional sensitive signs, Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. These all three signs are signs of moksha, final liberation. You see, that is why Saturn dwells in these signs, because it is only through the karmic cycle that the liberation happens. Karma Yoga is the territory of Saturn, and Swami Vivekananda beautifully conveys the significance of Karma Yoga in this Kali Yuga. Swami Vivekananda says, Jnana, Bhakti, Yoga and Karma, these are the four paths which lead to spiritual freedom. One must follow the path for which one is best suited. But in this age, special stress should be laid on Karma Yoga. Why Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces are addressed by the ancient seers as the Moksha Triangle or the Liberation Triangle? The answer is in Swami Vivekananda's quote. Swami Vivekananda says, Bhakti, which signifies Cancer, Karma, which signifies Scorpio, and Jnana Yoga, knowledge, which signify Pisces. 4, 8, 12. First, bhakti has to evolve within your being. Through bhakti comes the consciousness of executing your karma in the most gracious way. Yoga is possible only when your actions, that is karma, is in the right direction. And ultimately, when everything comes together, then Jnana Yoga is formed. And it is through this passage of Jnana Yoga, that is self-realized knowledge, that the ultimate moksha, liberation happens. And it happens in the 12th sign of Pisces. And it happens very much when you are alive. You don't have to die to become liberate. It is a myth that people believe that moksha or liberation happens after death. What is moksha? Moksha is ultimate freedom from the prison called mind. The moment you have gone beyond mind, moksha happens, enlightenment happens. Jesus attained moksha while being alive. Buddha, Mahavira, Muhammad, all the divine masters attained the stage of moksha while being alive. And so please remove this myth from your mind that moksha happens after death. Paramahansa Yogananda says, don't depend on death to liberate you from your imperfections. You are exactly the same after death as you were before. Nothing changes. You only give up the body. If you are a thief or a liar or a cheater before death, you don't become an angel merely by dying. If such were possible, then let us all go and jump in the ocean now and become angels at once. Whatever you have made of yourself thus far, so will you be hereafter. And when you reincarnate, you will bring that same nature with you. To change, you have to make the effort. This world is the place to do it. Understand the fact that you are born in a specific nakshatra and sign based on your evolution, based on the level of your nature. A pious man or a pious woman with certain quality of nature will be born on a star or a nakshatra that relates to his or her quality of nature. So it is not God who directs you to take birth on a certain nakshatra. It is your own karmic quality that directs you to take birth on a certain nakshatra. A person born in Pushya, because his or her level or state of evolution matches the frequency of Pushya Nakshatra, you see, the next birth, based on whatever you have made of yourself in this life, accordingly you will be born on a specific nakshatra. And so, come you all and meditate. Through meditation, you can come to the realization of your own shortcomings. And once the awareness of your shortcomings is instilled within you, then the flame of your awareness will burn up all the darkness of ignorance and will lead you to the higher altitudes of human life. And that is what the great yogi Paramahansa Yogananda says, that to do so, this world is the place to do it. This world is the place to evolve yourself into a new man, a man of awareness, a much matured man, a much evolved meditative man. Meditation is the only miracle that can transform you into a new man. Every nakshatra has a shortcoming and every nakshatra has some great qualities. The emotional quality of Pushya is a great quality only if these emotions are purified. In spiritual journey, emotions play a very important role because devotion is based on emotions, pure emotions. Unless you purify your emotions, meditation cannot fructify. And that is the reason that why all religions encourage you to read the holy scriptures. Emotions are purified by reciting the shlokas, stotras, devotional hymns. All the efforts of a spiritual seeker should be towards purification of emotions. Emotions are good, but only when they are purified. Enough for today. Meditate.